Are we on Zoom yet?
Yeah, okay. We are going live. Let's see if this works. We have so many changes today. Chag Sameach, everyone. I'm going to give a minute to see who is there. Sandy, Polanski, and Marvin, hopefully. They're here. So if Marvin is watching, everything is good. Because if I have any problem, he will come to the rescue. So welcome, everyone. As you start connecting to the Seder, I'm here at Congregation Clergy Zedek. My name is Rabbi Anibal Mas. I will be the host today for this amazing community-wide, I would say very first, community-wide Second Seder. Great achievement, great achievement. So we welcome you all. Yeah. It's interesting because my country is on 0, so I guess I'm flying blind today. I can't tell how many people are connected. It's interesting. Interesting. So let's give a couple more minutes. Alan is back, this time on YouTube. Welcome. By the way, if you're watching from the Temple Shalom Facebook page of the Federation or PJ Library Facebook pages or on the Etz Chaim, Congregation Etz Chaim website, I believe I cannot read what you type in the chat. It's one of the limitations of the software that we're using because I had to create what is called a custom destination. That means that it's not bi-directional, so I cannot read what you send to me. Terry is here from New York. Pesach Sameach. She's with her parents, Gil and Judy, from Florida. Wow. Okay. Welcome. Fake is here. Roberto Franco. If you ever want to send me a text during a message during the transmission, even if you are watching from other pages, you can go to the Clergy Zedek page for a minute, type something, and then go back to your favorite page to watch it. So we are about to begin. We have a great program ahead of us. So many different people are going to participate today that is mind-blowing. Amazing people representing all our partners. And you might be wondering, who are the partners? That's an excellent question. So let me read it for you. Tonight, we are collaborating between Congregation Etz Chaim, Congregation Clergy Zedek, Jewish Child and Family Services, Jewish Federation of Winnipeg, PJ Library, Ready JCC, Temple Shalom. Wow. 7 institutions got together to create this Seder that you're about to enjoy. We're going to use a very special Haggadah. Hello, Ariel Lee, Hartley Hyman, welcome. The whole Hyman family is present, wow. We are going to be using the PJ Library Haggadah. I don't have the original one, I have a copy, but you can actually download this, a copy of this from the internet. So I'm going to put here, I want to show you how it looks like. This is the one, right? That's the way it looked like. And if you want to download, you have to go here. pjlibrary.org/Haggadah. That is pjlibrary.org/Haggadah. And then you can download the PDF of the Haggadah to follow along. It's a great opportunity. So as I give you another minute so you can download this, I'm going to welcome also, or to introduce to you to my family that they are here with me. You can see them. Oh, but you cannot see them actually. Not everybody. I have to move it a little bit more. There they are. Say hello.
Hi.
That's the camera.
Chag Sameach.
That's the camera. Chag Sameach. And I'm going to hide my name. You already know who I am. So it's time for us to begin with the order of the Seder. Before we even introduce the order of the Seder, which is traditional, we have a few things to do, which is, for example, to light the candles and to recite the Kiddush. So I'm going to go to there right now. I'm going to be showing you where is it? I'm going to be showing you everything all the way. By the way, we have the Seder plate here. Where is the Seder plate? It's right there. I don't know if you can see it so well, but we have everything here and all the traditional elements. We have the beitzah, the egg. We have the karpas, the green vegetable. We have the maror, the bitter herb, but also hazeret. That is a second kind of bitter herb. We have the haroset, and we have the zeroa. So everything is there. So Temple Shalom is already here. I don't know, did it work in your website, in your Facebook? I hope it did. I hope it did. Who is Maureen Nathan is here. Priscilla Kerr. My mom from Argentina. You see, this is great. So many people. Okay.
Barbarina, Chag Sameach.
Yeah.
Say Chag Sameach to Barbarina.
Hola.
Is your mic on?
Hola.
Your mics are off. Okay. So let's go to begin right away. I don't want to waste time. Oh, wrong order. Going to the wrong side. We are going to begin with, we have to light the candles. We'll do it right now. And hopefully, if you have your candles at home, light them right now. And let's sing it together. Let's see, I want to hear every one of you, each one of you singing this with us. That would be an achievement, right? If I can hear them all.
It would.
So be loud, so we can hear you here. Goes like this. Lie, 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 lie. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, במצוותיו, וציוונו להדליק נר, וציוונו להדליק נר, וציוונו להדליק נר, של יום טוב. And we say amen together.
Amen.
Chag Sameach, everyone. Chag Sameach. Thank you, Ronen. By the way, Ronen, my son here, Ashira, my wife, and Sivi, my mother-in-law. So we are having a little family dinner here in the main sanctuary of Shari Zedek, but today we are all together. So let's continue with the next part, which is blessing of the children. Very nice. Blessing of the children. So if you have your children next to you, it's time to put a hand on top of their heads. A few things here. You have the words in front of you. If you're using the Haggadah at home, it's page 20. Okay? Page 20.
Put this on the table, please. Thank you.
First, I'm going to sing for the boys, then for the girls, and then for everybody. The one for the boys is Yesim Elohim Ephraim Behi Menashe. May God bless you like Ephraim and Manasseh. For the girls, Yesim Elohim Kesara Rivka Rachel Velea. May God bless you like the matriarchs of the people of Israel. And then we wrap it up with more blessings. We incorporate the Yevarechecha blessing, this beautiful, beautiful blessing that is taken from the Torah that used to be used by the priest, by the Kohanim to bless the entire people of Israel. We are going to sing it together to bless each other. So, page 20. Yesim Elohim Ephraim Vehi Menashe La 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 Yesim Elohim Kesara Rivka Rachel Veleya La 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 For everybody Yevarechecha Adonai Veishmerecha Yair Adonai panav elecha vichuneka Is Adonai panav elecha Veyasem lecha shalom La 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 Veyasem lecha shalom. Such a wonderful thing to bless each other. So, we are ready to begin with our Seder, and for that, we need an yearly reminder of the steps of the Seder, which we have on page 12. Page 12 of the Haggadah, and I'm going to invite our first guest for the night, which is Rina Sekter-Elbaz from Congregation Shari Zedek, that she is going to sing for us the order of this Seder.
Kadesh,
Thank you, Dr. Rina, for reminding us of all the steps of the Seder. And now it's time to continue with the Kiddush, which is basically the first out of 4 cups that we are going to drink tonight. So you can use red wine, white wine. In fact, I used red wine last night, and we are using white wine this night. Actually, do you know that I will tell you an interesting anecdote that there are some Sephardic Jews that they actually use white wine for the Seder because they used to be accused of drinking blood for the Seder. And it used to be a serious crime, and it will generate pogroms. And so to avoid any confusion, many families decided to start drinking white wine. There is nothing wrong with it. It's absolutely kosher. It's wine. So if you have a cup, fill it up. And we are on page 13. And I will read first. 4 times during the Seder, we raise our cup of wine or grape juice and say a blessing before we drink it. Wine and its blessing mark special celebration when we feel glad and grateful for good things that have happened to us. The Seder is an extra special one of these nights. The first cup of wine is called the Kadesh, which means make it holy or make it special in Hebrew. With this first cup, we add blessings that describe Passover as a gift, a time to thank God and to celebrate being free. So I'm going to go to the next page. We say together, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. We are going to the next page for the second part. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'karabanu mikol העם, ורוממנו מכל לשון, וקידשנו במצוותיו, ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה, מועדים לשמחה, חגים וזמנים לששון, את יום חג המצות הזה, זמן חירותנו מקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. קיוונו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ומועדי קודשך בשמחה ובששון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש ישראל והזמנים. Amen. Chaim, and we drink from this cup leaning to the left side. Yeah, we have to recline for that one. The next step, if you remember what Dr. Rina sang for us, is going to be the Urchatz. And it's going to be presented by a representative from the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg. In fact, it's going to be Ilana Schultz, representing the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg. And I have a message from them, for all of you, and they want you to remember that the Jewish Federation of Winnipeg is pleased to partner with other organizations throughout our community for the Second Seder. On behalf of our board and staff, we wish everyone in our community a Passover rich, with meaning and overflowing with joy. We invite you all to visit our website at jewishwinnipeg.org to see all the programs we are offering for Passover and beyond. So without further ado, let's continue on page 16 with the Urchatz. Ilana, please.
We wash our hands so they will be ready to do special work. During the Seder, we wash our hands in an unusual way, and we do it twice. This first time, washing with no blessing, is Urchatz, which means and wash.
Thank you so much. And next, we are going to continue with the next step, which is on page 17, which is the eating of the green vegetable, the karpas. That's why we wash our hands, so we could do this. So I'm going to invite Joel Laser to read this for us.
Carpets. Passover celebrates the start of spring. As cold and dark days end, green leaves return to the trees and flowers blossom again. Trees and plants are free to grow. To mark spring's return, we eat karpas, which means green vegetable. Before we eat the karpas, we dip it in salt water. The salty taste reminds us of the tears that the slaves cried in Egypt. It also reminds us of the sadness and pain of slavery. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri ha'adamah. Dear God, creator of our world, thank you for creating fruits and vegetables that grow out of the earth.
Thank you so much. So this is the time that you should get your, your green vegetable and eat it.
Do you eat the stem? Did you have
What is it, parsley?
Parsley.
Not my favorite.
I like it. It's fresh.
Yeah,
Fresh.
maybe with Mexican food.
Cilantro.
Cilantro, okay, it's similar. I was probably the same family of vegetables. So, yeah, again, we welcome everyone. If you just tune in, this is a community-wide Second Seder from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. We are partnering congregations Clergy, Etz Chaim, Temple Shalom, Jewish Federation, Rady, JCC, Jewish Shalom Family Service, and
plain stem?
what am I missing? I'm missing one. I'm missing one. PJ Library. Yeah. We're all doing together this Seder. I'm going to mention it many times during the evening, so if I miss one now, I'm pretty sure I will catch it next time. So next, now that we ate the karpas, we are going to do something with the middle matzah, because remember, we should have 3 matzahs on the table, at least 3. Then you can have more for the dinner. And something is going to happen with the middle matzah. Thank you so much that my wife just passed me here. But it's not going to be me, the one telling you what's going on. No, because we have another participant from the Jewish Federation. In fact, I believe they are representing the PJ Library. So we welcome to the Molochkovetsky family that they are going to teach us and show us what to do with the matzah, with the step called the yachatz.
Happy Passover! Hi everyone. On the table Seder, have a matzah plate. On the matzah plate have 3 matzahs. בסימן יח"צ, I take the middle matzah and break in 2. This is the afikoman. Which one is bigger?
This one.
This is the afikoman. Now I take the afikoman and hide it. Like that. Let's continue in the Seder.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope everybody will take now a minute or 2 to hide the afikoman. Let's do it now. Let's do it now. So, yeah, I was just informed that there was for some reason the stream didn't go to anywhere that is not the Sherry Zedek YouTube and Facebook profile. Sorry about that. We never tried it before. So, but yeah, it's time to hide the afikoman. Now we continue with the introduction of the Magid that is going to be done by Ora Manov, also representing the Jewish Federation.
The story of freedom, Magid, means tell. When we tell the story of how the Jewish people became slaves in Egypt and then became free. As part of telling, we ask questions, invite discussion, and experience the story with acting and singing.
Thank you so much. So as you could see there in the video, you have to fill up the cup again because we have to prepare it for the next step, which is going to be the second cup. Not yet, not quite yet. So we have a further explanation now of what happened during the Magid, and for that, I'm going to introduce to all of you to Rabbanit Dorit, that she is representing today to the Jewish Child and Family Services, and she's going to start with the Magid, and she is going to be explaining to us what it's all about. Dorit, please.
Hi, I'm Rabbinit Dorit Kosman, and I'm a social worker at Jewish Child and Family Service. And we're going to do the Magid, part of the Seder now, the story of freedom. Magid begins with a very important announcement. Halachma anya, matzah. It's the bread of slavery. So I'm going to take my Egyptian plate here and put my matzah right there. And in our family, we put the matzah on our shoulder. And you have to feel like it's heavy. It's like a big rock or stone or mortar that you're schlepping along. Halachma anya. This is the flat, plain bread that our family ate when they were slaves in the land of Egypt. Remembering the poor food of slaves tonight, we welcome anyone who is hungry to come and eat the Passover meal with us. Now we are here. Next year, we hope to be in the land of Israel. Now we are slaves. Next year, may we all be free. Halachma. Halachma anyadi yachalu avatana behara demitzrayim behara demitzrayim kol tifchin yeteh kol titzrich Yifsach hashata hacha l'shana haba Ad Yisrael hashata avei l'shana haba Where are we now? The Haggadah gives a clue with the words, now we are slaves. We are here in ancient Egypt. When we hold up the matzah, we imagine going back in time and becoming slaves. Now we're tired and hungry and have to eat quickly while we are forced to work. Even though we are just beginning to tell how we became slaves, we're already getting ready to go free at the end of the story. At this point, we're going to refill your cup of wine or grape juice, and we're going to get ready for the second cup. We're not going to drink it until later at the very end of the Magid section. So let's ask 4 questions. Ma nishtana? Passover Seders are unusual dinners with unique foods and ways of eating. Why do we have these foods and rituals? How do they help us tell the story of having been slaves and then becoming free? Asking questions out loud and answering questions in ways that tell our own stories are both signs of being a free person. Traditionally, the youngest person or people at the table ask the 4 questions, but sometimes families do it all together. So, why is this night different from all others? Well, on all other nights, we can eat chametz, bread that rises when it bakes. Why tonight do we only eat the flat bread, matzah? Halayla hazeh kulo matzah. Question number 2. Shebechol haleilot anu ochlim she'al yerakot. On all other nights, we eat any kind of vegetables. Halayla hazeh maror. But why do we eat bitter herbs? Maror tonight. Question number 3. Shebechol haleilot ein anu mapilin afilu pa'am echad. On all other nights, we don't need to dip our food into a sauce even one time. Halayla hazeh shtei pe'amim. Why tonight do we dip foods 2 times? And question number 4, Shebechol haleilot anu ochlim bein yoshvin uvein mesubin. On all other nights, we eat sitting up or leaning. Why tonight do we make sure to eat leaning to our left? Halayla hazeh kulanu mesubin. Ma nishtana halayla hazeh mikol haleilot, mikol haleilot, shebechol haleilot anu ochlim chametz umatzah, chametz umatzah. Halayla hazeh, kulo matzah. Halayla hazeh, kulo matzah. Shebechol halilot anu ochlim she'al yerakot. She'al yerakot. Halayla hazeh, maror, maror. Halayla hazeh, maror, maror. Shebechol halilot ein anu matilin afilu pa'am echad, afilu pa'am echad. Halayla hazeh shetei ve'amim. Halayla hazeh shetei ve'amim. Shebechol halilot anu ochlim bin yoshvin uvein mesubin, bin yoshvin uvein mesubin. Halayla hazeh kulanu mesubin. Halayla hazeh kulanu Mesupin. Tonight's Seder is different from ordinary meals in all these ways because tonight is a special night. Tonight we tell the Passover story about how the Jewish people were slaves in Egypt and then became free. Avadim hayinu hayinu atam nechorim nechorim avadim hayinu ata nechorim avadim hayinu ata b'nechorim nechorim ata b'nechorim nechorim avadim hayinu ata b'nechorim nechorim avadim hayinu ata nechorim avadim hayinu ata b'nechorim nechorim ata b'nechorim nechorim. We were slaves and now we are free.
Thank you so much, Rabbanit Dorit. And we are ready now to continue with the next part of the Seder, which is all about the four children, and you will see there are lots of things to learn about. So for this, before I do that, actually, I forgot to mention before, because Dorit was representing Jewish Child and Family Service. So it is important for you to let you know what they do. Jewish Child and Family Service is something that is amazingly important here in Winnipeg. And this is the way they define themselves. They say, we are here for individuals and families who would like some support to live their lives they want. So at holiday time and all year, we are honored to be part of the journey. So thank you so much, Julian Family Service, for the amazing work that you do every single day of the year. And thank you so much for agreeing, participating in this community-wide Seder. Thank you, honestly, for everything you do. Now, I'm going to invite my colleague, Rabbi Matthew Leibel, obviously representing to Congregation Sherry Zedek, that he is going to continue with the next part of the Seder.
The four children, Chacham, Rasha, Tam, Ve'echad she'eino yodea lishol. In the Torah, parents tell the Passover story to their children in different ways. The Haggadah tells us that's because the children themselves are different. People learn stories in many different ways. These four children are examples of different ways to ask and answer questions about Passover. As you read about them, try to think of other questions someone might ask about the Seder and the story. What parts of the Seder are you curious about? You can also think about different ways someone might tell the story to help everyone learn it. How can food help us tell the story? How can songs help? How about pictures? What are some other ways you or other people might like to learn a story? Chacham, the wise child inquires, what are all the rules and customs for celebrating Passover? The wise child wants to know all the details of everything we do and say at the Seder, to understand why we do and say them. What do they teach us? Parents can explain how each of the Seder's rules, customs, foods, and songs helps us tell the Passover story. On Passover, we remember our history. Rasha, the rebellious child, challenges. What does all this mean to you? The rebellious child feels like an outsider at the Seder. Parents can explain the Jews in Egypt had to choose to be free, all together, as a community. If you did not choose to join, you would stay stuck in slavery. On Passover, when people all over the world come together to tell this story of freedom, we choose to be part of a community. Tam. The simple child asks, "What's going on?" The simple child sees that tonight is different from other nights, but doesn't understand what we are doing or why we are doing it. Parents can explain the reason for the Seder simply. God took Jewish slaves out of Egypt with surprising miracles. On Passover, we are grateful to be free people. Ve'echad she'eno yodea lishol. The quiet child is listening and thinking at the Seder, but not speaking or asking. Parents can explain, even without being asked, that we celebrate Passover because God freed us from being slaves. They can invite this quiet child to keep listening and thinking. On Passover, each of us learns in our own way about being free. The more storytelling, the better. Now it's time to add more details to our Passover story. We will tell how we became slaves in Egypt, what it was like for us there, and then how we were liberated. The following 4 verses from the Torah, 4, tell the basic story. But there is a lot for us to describe, to ask, to act out, and to explain. On Passover, we encourage everyone to talk about this story. The more, the better. Our ancestors wandered from Mesopotamia. They traveled down to Egypt to live there with just a few people. There they became a great nation with many, many people. Get up and wander. Pick a song to sing while everyone wanders around the table or the room. Then go back to your seat where you feel at home. My wandering song would be, "And I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more." You know that one? It's just a suggestion. To live there. At first, the Jews wandered from place to place, but they stopped wandering when they got to Egypt. Why did they stay there? What makes people feel at home in a new place? Have you ever been a stranger in a new place or with new people? How did it feel? Did some new people make you feel welcome? Was anyone angry or mean? How did you react? A great nation. First, the Jews were a family, but in Egypt, they became a great nation. How is a nation similar to a family? How is it different? What makes a nation great besides having a lot of people? Verse number 2. The Egyptians were harsh to us and made us suffer and forced us to work very hard. Made us suffer. The Torah tells that the Egyptians took children away from their parents. Moses, who led the Jews to freedom, was saved when he was a baby because his mother hid him in a basket that floated down the river. Imagine Moses is your baby. You're so afraid he'll not be safe that you wrap him up and hide him in a basket. Show us how you'll place Moses in a basket on the river. Is it hard to let him go? Will he be okay? Who will find him? How do you feel as the basket floats away? Work very hard. Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, forced the slaves to build cities and pyramids, and even make the bricks for building. Is it cruel to make someone work hard? What kinds of hard work are good for us, and what kinds are cruel? It's true, rabbi insertion here, Not all hard work is bad, but sometimes it can be. Pretend you're a slave, lifting heavy bricks in the blinding sun. Your whole body aches, and you're not allowed to stop. Show us how it feels to be forced to work so hard. What are you thinking to yourself as you work? Verse number 3. We called out to God, whom our ancestors had prayed to. God heard our voice and saw our pain, our struggle, and our suffering. Called out. What do you think the Jews said when they called out to God? Did they feel sad or angry, frightened or hopeful? Hey, God, listen. Imagine you're a slave talking to God. How do you describe how you feel? What would you like to say to God? God heard. First, God heard the people's voice when they called out. Then God saw how they felt. How is hearing what someone says to us different from seeing what their life is like? Our suffering. Who in the world today is suffering and needs help? Who do we know who helps other people? And how do they do it? Are there some ways we could help other people too? And the final verse. God took us out of Egypt with a strong hand and an outstretched arm, with great power and with signs and wonders. With a strong hand. What does it mean to say God did something with a strong hand? An outstretched arm. Did someone ever reach out with their arms or their words to help you when you needed help? How did you feel before they helped you? How did you feel afterward? Signs and wonders. Did you ever see something that made you feel a sense of wonder? Does someone at your Seder table have a freedom story to tell? Now is a good time to share it. What were those powerful signs and wonders? We begged Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, to let us go free. But Pharaoh's heart was as hard as stone. To change Pharaoh's heart, God sent 10 messages. Each message was a plague, something frightening or bad that could make Pharaoh understand that what he was doing was wrong. These 10 plagues scared the Egyptians. Some of the plagues ruined things that Egyptians prayed to, like the Nile River and the sun. Some made them sick, like sores, or spoiled their food, like locusts that ate up the plants in the fields. After each plague, Pharaoh thought about letting the Jews go free, but he always changed his mind. Finally, God sent the 10th and worst of the plagues. The eldest son in every Egyptian family got sick and died. At last, Pharaoh said, "Enough! Let the Jews go." On Passover, we are grateful that extraordinary things happened to help us go free. But we're also sad that other people suffered while we were saved. When we remember the 10 plagues, we dip a pinky finger into our cup of wine or grape juice and take one drop out for each plague. We're still joyful, but our cup of joy is not quite as full. Now we're going to say the names of the 10 plagues, and each time, along with me, I encourage you, use your finger to move a drop of wine or grape juice from your cup to your plate. Dam, blood. Sfardeia, frogs. Kinim, lice. Arov, wild animals. Dever, cattle disease. Shchin, sores. Barad, hail. Arbeh, locusts. Choshech, darkness. Makat bechorot, the death of the firstborn.
Thank you, Rabbi Matthew, for your teachings of the Maggid. Yeah, the Maggid, as Rabbanit Dorit explained, is the longest part of the Haggadah. And that makes sense, because if you think about it, the whole Haggadah was written to retell the story of the Exodus. And we want to study it with as many details as we can. So as we go along with the Seder, please feel free to use this Seder as an opportunity to ask each other questions, sometimes even to challenge each other. Because I realize that sometimes in the table we have different opinions. So it's very good to engage in conversation. Very good to engage in conversation. Now, the next section is going to be presented by other of my colleagues, Leslie Emery. She's one of the lay leaders here at the Shari Zedek. And by the way, we haven't actually bring greetings from Shari Zedek, and I have to say that we are so happy to be here. So happy to partner with so many wonderful Jewish institutions. And to remind everybody that Congregation Shari Zedek is a center for conservative Judaism that welcomes the community to experience spiritual growth, continuing education, and the enrichment of life cycle events. Without further ado, I would like to invite my colleague, Leslie Emery, who is going to present the next section in a very fun way with puppets. So if your children are running around, call them to come near the screen, because they're going to enjoy the story the way Leslie is telling it.
עבדים היינו לפרעה במצרים עבדים היינו אתה בן חורין עבדים היינו אתה בן חורין
I think it's time that we got out of Egypt. I don't think we have time to bake our bread to go. We better just take our dough, put it in a bag on our backs, and get out of here. Come on, everybody, it's time to go. Oh, I really hope Pharaoh doesn't change his mind again. I've got my dough, and I'm ready to go. Oh, let's go. I changed my mind. Army chariots, let's get them! Oh no, not again! Whew, good thing we took our dough to go. Pharaoh? Oh no, quick! Let's go! Oh, we're trapped between the sea and Pharaoh. We're gonna get them! Quick! Let's get them! Do you see that? See what? Do you see the sea? The sea is splitting to let us through! Yay! Let's go! Wow! Let's go! I'm coming too! Wait for me! Whoa! I've never seen anything like that before! Chase them, army! Uh-oh. The sea closed on my army. We're free! We're free! We're finally free! We're free! We're free! We're free! We're finally free! Yay! Freedom! We're free! Woohoo! I hope the Jewish people remember this moment forever. Chag Sameach, everybody!
We're all laughing here. It's so fun. You see, who said that we cannot be creative with the Seder? There's so much room for creativity. So I hope you're taking notes of everything that everybody's presented, because next year, it's going to be in person, right? Because it's going to be in person.
Hopefully.
You can bring some of these ideas.
Hopefully it's going to be in person.
It's going to be.
Well, hopefully.
Okay.
We don't know because...
Okay.
I do.
But we're hoping.
Okay.
Because we don't know.
Next, we are going to continue with this wonderful rendition of the Dayenu. that is, I think it's an anthem to gratitude. It's an opportunity for all of us to remember to be grateful, even if you don't have everything you want. Because let's be honest, in life, who really has everything they want? No one. So if you cannot be joyful and happy before you have everything you want, then my experience is you're going to be miserable every day of your life. So Pesach is also a reminder that even if it's just a partial victory, celebrate it, be joyful, and sing together. The Dayenu, Leslie's coming back to lead us on that song.
Ilu otianu mimitraim otianu dayenu 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 Ilu karalanu etayam karalanu dayenu 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 Ilu natananu etashabat natananu dayenu 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 Ilu natananu etatora natananu dayenu 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 dayenu
Thank you, Leslie. That was awesome. Looking forward to the day where we can start doing again the family services. This COVID interrupted all these wonderful services we were doing with puppets every single Shabbat. But you can tell that she's very comfortable around puppets. She loves doing that, and it's so awesome. Next, we are going to continue now with the next section, that is Pesach, Matzah, and Maror. And it's going to be presented, the first part, the first two, Pesach and Matzah, by Dr. Rina. She's coming back. And then for the Maror, is going to be Rob Berkowitz, representing the Ready JCC. But I'm going to introduce him before his turn. For now, I would like to invite you all to turn to page 42, and let's see what Rina has to teach us.
Chag Sameach, and welcome to my Seder. I'm Rina Sector Elbaz from Congregation Shara Zedek. And we are now going to be on page 42 in the PJ Library Haggadah. This is a very important part of the Seder. Rabban Gamliel, who lived 2,000 years ago in the land of Israel, wrote the Haggadah, and he felt it was important that we speak about 3 symbolic foods during the telling of the Passover story. These foods are key to remembering what happened then and feeling as if we ourselves are feeling the sense of freedom that the children of Israel felt in those days. And those three things are Pesach, Matzah, and Maror. Pesach refers to the sacrifice of the lamb that was eaten on the night before the children of Israel left Egypt. It's symbolized by a lamb shank, or many of you will probably have a chicken bone on your table. I have a little pulka here. And there's a portion of the Haggadah where we say that God stretched out his mighty arm and opened the seas, and the children of Israel went forth from Egypt. Zroa netuyah, a strong arm and an outstretched fist. And this is on our Seder plate. There's other items on the Seder plate as well. As I'm sure that you have seen, this is my Seder plate. And I also have some maror, the betzah, charoset, chazeret, and the karpas. But I also have the matzah. So we've spoken about Pesach, and we're going to speak about matzah. Matzah is a very important element of the Seder because it shows that when we had the opportunity to find freedom, we did not wait. We did not wait for the bread dough to rise. We made it immediately, baked it as flat as a pancake, and off we went. And this is the same for our lives. When we have an opportunity to be free and to feel that we have a choice, we should take it. And these are two important symbols of the Seder. We are now going to hear the third, maror, the bitter herbs.
Thank you, Rina. Now, I would like to invite Rob Berkowitz, but not just invite Rob Berkowitz. He actually sent a message, a greeting for all of you that I would like to read. On behalf of the Board of Directors and staff at the Ready Jewish Community Center, Executive Director Rob Berkowitz would like to extend to everyone a Chag Pesach Sameach and wish nothing but the best to its members and the entire Jewish community. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Berkowitz.
Maror. This bitter vegetable is called maror, which means something bitter. And why is it on our Seder table? Maror has a sharp, harsh taste. Eating the maror is supposed to sting our mouths a little. Maror's harshness reminds us how hard and painful it was being a slave in Egypt. It helps us imagine soreness in our backs from lifting heavy bricks. It reminds us of the pain in our hearts when we thought we would never be free. To understand how important freedom is, it is not enough for us to talk about slavery. Tasting the maror, we make sure we also feel at least a little bit of the slave's bitter pain. It helps us remember that when we get the choice, we choose to go free.
Thank you so much, Rob. Thank you for your teaching. And now we are going to move on to the next section. We thank and praise the name of God. Actually, we have two parts of the Seder where we do what we call the Hallel, where we praise the name of God. In fact, the rabbis say that we have to start with shame and finish with praise. And I believe this has to be a little bit with a sense of accomplishment. To realize that we started low, down here, but we end up here. The sense that there is a journey. The sense that we became better, but we are aware of where we came from, so we know how far we went. So for that, I would like to invite you to turn to page 45 and to invite again Dr. Rina to sing for us Venomar Lefanav.
We're now going to be on page 45 in the PJ Library prayer book. It's a time to say thanks and praise because of all the miracles that our ancestors received when they left the land of Egypt. They went from slavery to freedom, from despair to happiness, sadness to joy. This is a very joyful holiday. It's a time where we go from darkness to light, from winter to spring. It's now a time to sing and celebrate we're going to lift up our cup in joy and sing praise. And I want you to join me in this beautiful song, V'nomar lefanav. Let's sing a new song to God. V'nomar lefanav shira chadasha, V'nomar lefanav shira chadasha, V'nomar lefanav shira chadasha, V'nomar lefanav shira chadasha. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. V'nomar lefanav shira chadasha, V'nomar lefanav shira chadasha, V'nomar lefanav shira chadasha, V'nomar lefanav shira chadasha.
Thank you, Rina. And now we turn to page 46 as we continue with verses of praise. And I would like to invite again Leslie Emery to sing for us Betzet Israel Mimitzrayim. Leslie.
This is my favorite song at the Seder. And the way I sing it, it's probably supposed to be sung with more than one person. So I'm hoping you'll help me and sing along. We're on page 46. Betzet Yisrael mimitzrayim, Bet Yaakov me'am lo'ez. Betzet Yisrael mimitzrayim, Bet Yaakov me'am lo'ez. Hayta Yehuda lekodsho, Yisrael mam shelotav. Hayam rav ayanos, Hayarden Yisov leachor. Betzet Yisrael mimitzrayim, Bet Yaakov me'am lo'ez. Heharim, rakedu chelim, gevat, kivnei tzon, malachayam, kitanus, hayarnen, tisov leachor, heharim, tirkedu chelim, gevat, kivnei tzon, milifnei adon, chuli aretz, milifnei Elohai Yaakov, haofchi hatzur, agamayim, chalamish, lemaino mayim.
Thank you, Leslie. And I don't know if you see what is right there next to me, right? It's no, not my son. Of course, he's here next to me. Let's say hello to everyone. Say hi. That's Ronen. That's my son, Ronen. No, but I didn't mean that. I mean, what is next to me right here, you see there is a special meal. That means that the meal is coming. It's coming soon. So if you have anything to take out of the oven, maybe, or to start preparing, this is the time where you should send somebody to the kitchen to start getting things ready. And while you do that, I would like to invite Rabbi Alan Finkel from Temple Shalom that is going to introduce the next part. But also I would like to remind everyone that Temple Shalom is Winnipeg's Reformed Jewish congregation. and is delighted to participate in this wonderful virtual community Passover Seder. Through the involvement of Rabbi Alan Finkel and cantorial soloist David Vamos in this special project. So by the way, Alan Finkel is going to teach us right now, and David Vamos is going to be in the second half of the Seder after the meal. How is that part going to work? Well, after we finish with the first part, I'm going to stop the stream, go have your meal, and about 30 minutes later, I'm going to start the second part. I know. Everybody's looking at me here. I should show you this, because if you can see the faces that they gave me when I say 30 minutes. Now, the idea is the second half, because it's all pre-recorded. I'm going to send it 30 minutes after we start eating, about 30 minutes. And then the idea is it's going to stay at the channels, either Facebook or YouTube. And then you can go there anytime you want to play it. So you can take your own time. If your meal takes an hour, hour and a half of 2 hours, doesn't really matter. The second half of the Seder is going to be searchable on the channels. At least Shari Zedek, YouTube and Facebook. I don't know how it's going to work for the other congregation. I'm pretty sure they can share it to their pages, so you can find it there as well. So we can be with you for the second half. Don't miss the second half. In fact, most of it is going to be taken over by Rabbi Cleel Rose from Congregation Etz Chaim. So don't miss that part. I'm going to bring greetings from the Congregation Etz Chaim right after Alan Finkel, so you will have the opportunity to listen all the wonderful work they are doing before we go to the break. But for now, let me bring to all of you to my the Rabbi Alan Finkel from Temple Shalom, that is going to lead us all the way into the meal.
Chag Pesach Sameach. My name is Rabbi Alan Finkel from Temple Shalom, and I'm happy to continue the journey through our special community Haggadah this evening. You know, this is the part when we're starting to approach the meal, and as a child, I certainly remember, well, I love the stories. I was really looking forward to the family meals. Like, Dayenu, enough with the speaking, let's move on. And that's what I get to do right now, is to take you on this final journey to Shulchan Orech. So we're going to start with the second cup of wine, which ends the storytelling part of our Seder, and we'll move towards the beginning of our meal. So while you read these blessings, lift up your cup of wine or juice like a toast for freedom. And after you say the blessings, we will lean back and drink it together. So for those of you who are following along, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher galanu v'gal et avotenu mimitzrayim, v'higiyanu lalayla hazeh le'echol kol matzah u'maror. Dear God, creator of our world, thank you for making us and our families free, and for bringing us safely to this night to eat matzah and maror at the Seder. Dear God, thank you for making us free. And together, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Amen. Dear God and creator of our world, thank you for the delicious fruit that grows on vines. And together, let us lean back and drink. And now we move towards the meal. And as is our custom before any meal, especially on Pesach, we wash our hands first. My bowl is below me, so I don't, and the camera's up here, so I'm going to kind of lean down. And I'm going to do the washing on the hands, and then we'll do the blessing together. And by the way, know that coming up, we're going to be doing the blessings on the matzah, the maror, and the harasa. So if you have those around, make sure you have them available. Otherwise, just follow along with me. Give me a moment here. Using my little pitcher. I'm going to wipe my hands. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. Dear God, creator of our world, thank you for giving us rules that make our lives special and for teaching us to wash our hands before we meet. A good rule generally, but certainly part of our customs kind of forever. And now we're going to move towards the matzah. I'll ask you to go to your matzah cover. Oh, let me show you mine first of all. We have a matzah cover, as you know, at our Passover Seders. And my mother, when she was much younger, had 5 children and 12 grandchildren, and she made one of these for each of us, beautifully embroidered. So in it, there's 3 pouches, one for the 3 different pieces of matzah. My mom passed away last October at the age of 87, Zirchana Livracha, may her name be for a blessing. And this Pesach is going to be particularly special because this is she'll be at every one of our Seder tables across Canada as we do this tonight. So I'm kind of glad to share this with you and know that she's very much part of the generations that always take place at a Passover table. So for now, I want you to open up the top layer, pull out the top matzah, and make yourself a little matzah sandwich. It'll look like this. 2 pieces of matzah brought together. And we're going to do 2 blessings together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz, which is our standard blessing on bread. And Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kichanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al ichilat matzah. We get our first taste of matzah. Dear God, Creator of the world, thank you for bringing us bread out of the earth. And dear God, Creator of our world, thank you for giving us rules that make our lives special, and for teaching us to meet matzah at the Seder. Together, let us say amen, and let's eat. Give me a moment, it's hard to talk with crackers in my mouth. And now we move on to maror. So maror, we know, is the bitter vegetable, and it gives us a small taste of slavery. We say a blessing over the maror, but when we eat it, we do not lean to the side, and for this moment, we are slaves again. Before we eat the maror, we dip it in charaset. This is the second dipping mentioned in the 4 questions, along with the dipping of karpas in salt water. The maror can be eaten on a piece of matzah or inside a piece of romaine lettuce. My custom growing up, and that's what I'm doing with you today, is to have it inside of matzah. And if you want to know what it looks like, many of us buy Elman's white horseradish. And it's usually the question is, how hot is it this year? And it's always the interesting question we go, and everybody around the table chooses as much maror as they feel comfortable with or how much bravery they want to show. So together, let us raise the maror and say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kichanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror. Dear God, Creator of our world, thank you for giving us rules that make our lives special and for teaching us to eat this maror at the Seder. This is a good year. And for those of you that might have gotten a little too ambitious, that's why we keep some of our second cup of wine around. Or in my case, grape juice. And now, we move to the final. This is the korach, the matzah sandwich. And we bring together all 3 foods that are part of the freedom story into one spicy bite. Because these days we no longer eat the Passover lamb, some of us put charoset into their korach. And charoset literally means clay. And it looks like the clay used by the slaves to make bricks for Pharaoh's buildings. There are many recipes for charoset, but it is always made from chopped fruit and spices and wine or juice, and often has nuts in it. Apples, cinnamon, walnuts, and wine are common ingredients. Mine has some honey in it as well, and a little bit of vinegar, as well as apples and walnuts. So for this sandwich, we take a piece of matzah from the bottom of the three matzahs that are in our matzah covers. And we don't really have a blessing for this one, so we just eat it right now, but we keep this in mind. 2,000 years ago, a teacher in Israel named Hillel created one of the first sandwiches. Korach brings together in a matzah sandwich bitter maror and sweet charaset. In some families, it's just maror and then charaset, but these are all our own individual traditions. For me, I have charaset, because that's the way I grew up. So I'm going to eat mine. And now we get to the fun part. This part of the Seder now ends as we move into Shulchan Aruch. And this means literally to put the dinner on the table. Enjoying this beautiful holiday meal is another way to show that we are free. And after the meal, the Seder will continue. So much love to you all. Truly a wonderful Chag, and may this be a time of peace. Chag Sameach, Shalom.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Finkel, for your teaching. And yeah, as he said, we are going to move on now to the Shulchan Aruch. So there is a little reading that I'm going to do on page 53, and after that, we have the dinner. 2,000 years ago, a teacher in Israel named Hillel created one of the world's first sandwiches. Korech brings together in a matzah sandwich bitter maron and sweet haroset. Sorry, he said that. Shulchan Orech means put dinner on the table. Enjoying the beautiful holiday meal is another way to show that we are free. After the meal, the Seder will continue. So you can put the Haggadah aside while you enjoy the festive meal. And remember, in a while, I'm going to stream the second half of the Seder. Let me put here so I can talk to all of you. I will stream the second half of the Seder so you can play it whenever you want. Don't feel rushed. Don't feel that you have to do it as it goes, because the whole second segment is pre-recorded. Okay, there is no live component on it. But the thing that I wanted to mention that is most of it is going to be presented by Rabbi Kliel Rose from Congregation Etz Chaim. So our friends from Etz Chaim would like you to know that Congregation Etz Chaim is a traditional egalitarian synagogue open to all. They seek to harness the power of community and the strength of the roots to enhance Jewish life and spirituality through prayer, learning, ritual, tikkun olam, meaningful social connections, and engaging Jewish experiences, to become increasingly relevant in the lives of all the congregants and to become increasingly integral to the well-being of the Jewish community. So thank you so much, Rabbi Kliel and Congregation Etz Chaim for participating on this Seder. So don't miss the second half, where Rabbi Kliel is going to present his teachings for all of us. As for me and my family here, bring them back. Let's say bye to the camera, because I'm going to stop this live section of the evening. We are going to have our dinner, and we are going to continue with the second half in a few minutes. Now, remember that we also start counting the Omer. Is this counting all the way from Pesach to Shavuot, and the first night that we count is tonight. Some people do it during the second Seder. Some people do it during the Mariv service, whenever they come to Shul. So if you haven't done it, remember, after the Seder, you count. Yes, I shouldn't say the name, the number. That's a tradition. You don't say the number. And different people they become very creative in how to announce the number for the day without saying it. So all I have to do for tonight is that it's the beginning. So without saying the number, I will tell you that it's very easy to know which number it is for the counting of the Omer. So yeah, we count all the way from Pesach to Shavuot, because Pesach is freedom, and Shavuot is the receiving and the giving of the Torah. So it's what gives sense to our freedom. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Chag Sameach, and thank you to all our partners. We thank you, Congregation Etz Chaim, Congregation Shari Zedek, the Jewish Federation, Jewish Child and Family Services, PJ Library, and Ready JCC. Thank you all for participating. Have a wonderful evening and enjoy your meal. Chag Sameach!